Somali people are very close and very near and dear to my heart. And I'll share a bit more about why. And I think that they are a huge asset to the ummah. So I want to discuss that as well, inshallah ta'ala.
Somalis are very entrepreneurial. I don't like that word. Somalis are business people. Very smart and strong business people.
We're going to dive into it. Inshallah.
Have you ever seen what Somal looks like back in the day, in the 50s, 60s?
Yes, I have.
Really, really nice.
With Somalis?
Yeah, it's Somal overall as a country, man, back in the 50s, 60s was a very nice, proper country.
It was like Iran before the
You can look up pictures.
so-called Islamic Revolution.
Let's start with this topic then, since we're diving into it, inshallah ta'ala. To the Muslim CEO who's tired of choosing between high level but haram or halal but basic. Look, I know you've looked at the options, right? These successful masterminds, they've got very smart people, but the culture is alcohol, it's free mixing, and values you don't share. The more practicing dini events, beautiful intentions, great people, but nobody's thinking about multi-jurisdictional structuring or institutional deal flow. So you've been stuck in the middle. You're too, dini and practicing for the world, but you're also too ambitious for the brothers. This is why we built The Cave, our network of high value and ultra high value individuals who refuse to compromise on either business and money and wealth and the akhirah. This is for Muslims who operate as an 8-line figure level where deen and strategy coexist. This is the place where you finally belong, inshallah. Apply now. Membership is by invitation or application only. Hopefully we have you on the other side. Click the link below. So let me play the clip from Donald Trump. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah, I did. I think he was also taking a stab at Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, I mean, let me.
But then again, don't forget, this is the same guy that spoke about the Muslim ban.
He did. Let's say it.
Malians ripped off that state for billions of dollars. Billions. Every year. Billions of dollars. And they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I can say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. Our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other. And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. They came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Okay, so let me tell you what, there's so much about what he said that I think we can dive into, inshallah ta'ala, right? The part that really annoyed me when I heard it was when he said there's a reason why their country is no good. That's what he said, right? This is typical colonialist speech, man. But these are people that destroyed the country in the first place.
Exactly.
The British when they colonized, then the Italian, and then these lot bombed the hell out of Somalia in the 90s, right? I'm saying, like, to me, that's the part about this that annoys me the most, right? Is that there's so much that he said, that was wrong. But it's like, bro, you will come in and destroy a country, create a situation that becomes a refugee crisis where they have to get out in order to survive, yeah? And you're the reason for that. And then you're going to say, we don't want that garbage in our country. India was responsible, and I'm talking about the time when the Mughal used to rule, for 25% of the world's GDP. Did you know that?
Yep, I know that. Yeah.
25% of the world's GDP.
I didn't know. At the Mughals time, I know they did incredibly well, but 25%?
25%. People talk about Islamic Spain, what we left behind in Andalusia. Nothing compared to what we lost in India.
Wow.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm from that region, right?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, 25% of the world's global GDP, bro, came from India. These people came and they ransacked the place. And now rat, you go to Mumbai, bro, the place is infested with rats.
Yeah.
And rat feces all over the place. So what are your thoughts on this? Sam, what do you think?
I'd like to hear the brother's thoughts, Sheikh. Yeah.
Zarir has...
You ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say.
No, I want to hear what you have to say.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, brother. You know, the past, the history, no point going into it because everybody knows it. Yeah, and you talk about the present.
Yeah, let's talk about the present. God.
Is there anything valid in what he said? I always like to try to understand where the person's coming from.
Yeah.
Like, why is he saying what he's saying? Is there anything valid in what he's saying? He mentioned something, then he mentioned a lot of stuff that we don't like.
Yeah.
Then he said Ilhan Umar.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Mohamed said, maybe he just doesn't like her.
Honestly, I don't like her. So I have also a bit of an unorthodox opinion about this, but I'll share my opinion later.
You know, you need to always try and understand why somebody's saying what he's saying. Is there anything valid in it? You get what I mean? It could be everything that he said.
So I don't get what's your issue with Ilhan Umar? By the way,
I don't know anything about her.
By the way, I don't know anything about her either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know anything about her. I just heard what he said, and then he mentioned her name.
So it seems like you're pointing at there being some validity behind what he's saying.
I'm asking the question. You know,
I'll tell you one thing that he said. Yeah. Which, if it's true,
because he's not an idiot, right? He's not an idiot.
Oh, he's
the president of the one of the most powerful countries in the world.
Yeah, so,
he doesn't say something that wasn't him just going on a rant emotionally.
Look,
it was very precise what he said and why he said it. My question is why.
Okay, let me try and get at what I think you're hinting to.
Yeah.
But I was making a separate point at the beginning, which is why I started off intentionally the way I started off, right? Because I feel like it's important for us to know who our ops are and who our allies are, right? What I was actually trying to get to, and then I'll comment on this point. There's a lot of Somali money, right? There's a lot of Somali money in the West, right?
And they send a lot of it back.
No, they do, but I feel like not enough. For example, one of our chief operations officer, Brother Hassan. He told me, for example, one of his cousins is part of a massive high net worth Somali network in North Africa. Are you familiar with it?
North Africa or North America?
North America, sorry, North America. It's a high net worth Somalis.
Called the Somali Professional Network?
I'm not sure. But there's like entrepreneurs, investors, very high caliber people. So it's clear there's Somalis that, mashallah, tabarakallah, high net worth individuals doing their thing. They're in North Africa. I know for a fact that even though Somalis some of them might not be the most affluent in the UK, they could produce money like that.
They can.
If there was a community, if there was a network that could produce money like that to get masajid built with what? Bro, zero riba. The Somalis don't take riba. That's one thing they're known for. Pakistanis, unfortunately, third generation, fourth generation Pakistanis, bro, these men swimming in riba. No, 100%. Somalis is known. Somalis, even the ones that are not practicing, will do all sorts of things. Riba? No, we're not going to touch that. My point is, Somalis can put money together. You know, whenever I've seen a brother, like Brother Jamal, right, who's been on our podcast multiple times, Alam Badik, 8-figure entrepreneur, had 2 exits, working on his 3rd one now. How did he start off? He got seeded money from his community, right? From his family, if I'm not mistaken, his mom or someone. Somalis are like that, bro. They'll produce money. They'll produce that seed fund. They'll get that money together. My thing is, now it's become apparent these people don't like you. It's become apparent. And the good thing is, I don't have to tell Somalis this. They already know. But what I am trying to do is just maybe stir the wound a bit and say, wake up and now realize that it's time for us to start moving our money out and reinvesting in our own countries. So, and I'm, whether it's investing back home in Somalia or whether it's investing in Muslim economies in general, because Somalis have got a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Somalis have a lot to offer. Somalis, one thing I notice about them is that when they go into something, they go 100%. Somalis don't do things half-heartedly. Somalis are the best students of knowledge that I've seen in my life. When Somalis start studying and seeking knowledge, bro, they outpace everyone else. The Bengali, the Pakistani, the Arab, all of them, right? I've seen it. Maybe it's just my experience. Also, when Somalis they come on the streets, they take everyone else, bro. Like, there were certain ethnicities that were known to run things in London. Yeah. I won't mention who, right? Then when the Somalis came 2010, 2011, 2012, when they started to take over the hood, those guys said, these guys are built differently, bro. we had to surrender. Do you know what I'm saying? So Somalis, when they do something, bro,
they do it with ihsan.
They do it with ihsan. Do you know what I'm saying? They do it with ihsan. And it's
if you're going to do something wrong, do it right. That's how Somalis used to do it in London in 2010, 11, 12.
So my point is that's what I want to get across to our brothers, yeah, and our sisters and our auntie. I'm saying they've got a lot of money. They're a community that stick together. You know what I'm saying? They can produce a lot, and it's just about allocating that money in the right places.
So what you're saying in short is that the circumstances that led them to go to the West in the 90s, you know, for better opportunities, those circumstances no longer exist. They've changed. Now they can go to better places in the East, like Dubai, and, you know, do the same things that they did over there without, you know,
and I'm saying
without being unwelcomed.
And I'm saying a catalyst for that is that when you have a person like this who's insulting you in that way, and he's the leader of the strongest country in the world, then that should be action. But now coming back to your point,
I'll tell you something. If it's in his interest, a week from now, he'll be like in the community telling them how amazing it is. Brother, it's politics.
Yeah, I understand, bro. But
it's politics. He'll be singing their praise. He'll be saying the same thing that I just said. He'll be like, you know, the Somalian people are the most entrepreneurial.
Shall I tell you something about Somalis?
Yeah. What?
They won't forget it. I'll tell you something about Somalis.
Yeah?
Yeah, Somalis don't like that. Pakistanis? Oh, see, I said politics. No, Somalis, they won't forget that. So what I'm trying to get across here is that brothers, come, welcome, inshallah. That's what I'm trying to say. But now coming to your other point, is there validity behind what he's saying? Go on, Sam.
I think Mohamed has strong opinions. Okay, no. So basically, I won't repeat everything you have said, Sheikh, right? We have all been colonized and everything we have came. But my theory is, and I'll speak of my community, which is Bangladeshi community. Yeah. There was a big scandal in 2014 in Michigan.
Yeah.
There's a big food stamp fraud. Mm-hmm. You know what food stamp is? Mm-hmm. Basically the welfare money to buy food, right? For certain poverty line families. Mm-hmm. So what Bangladeshis were doing was taking that money, taking that food stamp card. By the way, guys, don't clip it because we don't want to insult our own communities, Muslim communities. It's just I'm making a point. They're taking this food stamp card, EBT card, going to the store. It's only meant to buy food, but they were buying other stuff. And then they would take a step ahead. They would sell those stuff. Basically doing business with welfare money. Mm-hmm. Just completely illegal, complete fraud. And the store owners were Bangladeshis as well. Mm-hmm. And they were part of this. Like, okay, so you have $500. We're going to, like the whole scandal. Mm-hmm. Then what happened was FBI raided all the stores all together, like helicopter. Mm-hmm. And all the shop owners, their homes at the same time. It was like a stint operation. They had many evidences on the videos and whatnot. They put mystery shoppers. They got some Bengali snitches. They were calling them snitches, but I mean, whatever you want to call them. But FBI planted them and actually committed the fraud. They got it on video. The whole point being, it was a big embarrassment. And of course, when they put it on the news, they're not going to only put Bangladeshis did it. What are you going to add to it? Muslims. But they don't do the same thing when Venezuelan drug cartels do something. They don't say Catholics. They don't say Christians. When Mexicans do something, they won't put Christians and Catholics or their religion behind it. But we know there's agenda, like, you know, we already know this is old news. Mm-hmm. But we have to also know that this affects everyone. Mm-hmm. Now, probably Pakistanis don't have anything to do it. Yemenis don't have anything to do it. But when you put Muslims, then they look at like all the Muslims, oh, these are just here to take advantage of us. Mm-hmm. So I think, Sheikh, there's validity, and it doesn't have nothing to do with Somalis only. Mm-hmm. It has to do with all immigrants. Mm-hmm. But of course, when that immigrant group is Muslim group, it gets blown out of proportion. It gets blown out of proportion, but it's an immigrant problem. And I think, Sheikh, the last thing, I think we have to also, not everybody can yet like just move out of the States. Mm-hmm. Probably they just immigrated there, right? They come from hard times. They're barely making money. And I'm actually super grateful to what Allah has blessed me through being in America. Because I still think it's one of the best countries to go from 0 to 1. Okay? But when you go to 1, then you have to think, okay, what else can I do? You know, there's not many countries where you're just literally 0. Just like our family, we came 0. There's no connections, no education, nothing. And you go to 1, then Allah blessed us to be in a position to think otherwise. But from going from 0 to 1, I think you have to be law-abiding citizen. Like, for example, Sheikh, last thing, my father, you know, a lot of people apply for food stamp. The next day, they land in America. Mm-hmm. But legally, you're not supposed to apply for it until like 5 years you have lived in the country. Mm-hmm. That's the legal law, okay? But everybody applies. And if it's a Democrat-run government, which in our case, we moved in 2009, so Obama was the president. So Democrats, they like giving away stuff because they want to buy the votes, right? So they don't really check when you landed here. Mm-hmm. If you apply, you'll get it as long as you meet the income qualifications, you're under the poverty line. My father said, no, we won't do it. We won't take it, because first it's illegal. We're not eligible for it. We're not here for 5 years. Second, even when we were eligible, we don't want to do it. So I think we have to have that honor as well, because people make American dream to be coming from like, I'm gonna go and just take advantage of the government, So that's where you're not gonna earn respect, and that's not a Muslim issue. That's not an immigrant issue. I think it's a mindset issue.
Yeah, I mean, look, Barakallah Feek, because as we talked about in the previous podcast, nuance is very important. Right?
Yeah.
Nuance is very important. So now coming to something that he said, which might have had some validity. If what he's saying about 88% are on welfare, right, in that particular community, in that particular region, that's a huge problem.
That's surprising to me because Somalis, like the Somalis that we know, business-minded, they go from 0 to 1 to 10 quickly.
Yeah, but but it's over generations. Don't forget, the previous generation is not the same as this one, and will not be as the one before.
Look, the ones that you have to understand, are the ones that have made it out.
Yeah.
Right? It's the ones that we introduce you to here in the UAE. Allah barik. But what I'm trying to say is that, like what you said about Bengalis, Pakistanis, just Muslim immigrants, just generally, right? Or this is one of the things I remember Ustad Abdurrahman used to say. He used to say this, in his khutbahs, bro, in his lessons in the masjid, saying it's embarrassing that a Muslim man with a beard and a woman that's a Muslim with niqab is going to go to job seekers allowance, to get these welfare benefits, and hey, please give me. It's not, we should never be in that situation. You see, coming to Muslims, coming to a non-Muslim country should be a means of guidance for them. As a matter of fact, Muslims would go to Indonesia and other places, and they would imagine this, imagine this. Imagine a Pakistani come off a boat, he's got curry breath, right? He's got his little accent, you know what I'm saying? And he walks in, and everyone looks at him and says, wow, I want to be like you. They're so impressed that they say, I actually want to follow your religion. Can you imagine that happening?
No.
But that happened in Indonesia. The exact same surah I gave you happened. Muslims came off the boats into Indonesia. The way they traded with nobility, the way they spoke. The king said, who are these people? Bring them.
But they were Yemeni, bro. They don't eat curry.
By the way, curry is the biggest and most famous and most favorite meal of the UK. So they love it. They love it.
I saw a video of like one of those like right wing guys in a rally.
Yeah.
So he's taking a break from the rally. He's like eating curry.
But you're missing my point, right? My point is that when nobles come, when they came as immigrants, when the Muslims came as immigrants to Indonesia,
they became role models.
Yeah, they came with so much nobility that people said, I want to be like them. Do you understand? And I'm saying that Muslims have to consider that when you go to certain communities and you become, like I'm saying, bro, there's certain Pakistani communities. But it's a very sensitive topic because you're talking about individuals, talking about ethnicities, nationalities. So when it comes to my own people, I could be rough. I could be tough.
Yeah.
Pakistanis in some places in the UK are scum of the earth, bro. Honestly, some of them are the scum of the earth, bro. Some of them are the filthiest, nastiest, dirtiest, like downtrodden, evil people, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, bro. It's a matter of fact, and we have to be real. Now, of course, there's some people that take that stuff out of proportion. They make it seem bigger than it is. They make it seem like it's a Muslim problem. It's not a Muslim problem, bro. It's a poverty problem. When you put people in situations of poverty, they're gonna do crazy things. In Ukraine, when the Soviet Union, or that region which now has become Ukraine, when they had put a mass famine on them, but people were eating each other. People would actually get money from the Soviet Union if they would help bury people for them, because there were some people dying, that they would actually take people that are still alive and bury them alive just to get some food.
My God.
I'm saying poverty brings out craziness in people. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that Pakistanis are inherently nasty, downtrodden. I'm not saying that. It's my people, right? And it's definitely not a Muslim problem. But what I'm saying is that circumstances have led to Pakistanis being in some of the most filthiest, nastiest situations in the UK. And that should never be the case, because you're a Muslim. You should never accept that for yourself. I'm saying if poverty does that to you on a normal situation, a Muslim should never be in that situation. You know what I'm saying? So I think there is, as you said, could be a point of validity in that you only insult people in a certain way when you know, there is something that...
Did he say 88% are on welfare?
Yeah.
Yes.
He said that?
Yeah.
But
See, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah.
No,
He
but
did.
what caught the
Yeah.
attention though, brother, is basically there's a lot of fraud going on. And that's why the whole thing sparked, because there's a lot of fraud. And out of all the fraud, the majority is unfortunately Muslim
But
names.
that happens in so many countries, even in the UK, because they're like, even now when I was there, every time I go, I learn a little bit more about the welfare state. And like, subhanAllah, they're so accommodating. And even now that they've tightened the loopholes in the system, it's still so helpful for people who need it.
Yeah.
So for you to abuse a system like that,
Yeah.
But that's
you get what I
exactly...
mean? But then that's what they say. Bring me, like in the States, they say, what do they say? Bring me your poor, your weak, your trodden, the ones that nobody wants. But when you ask for that, then you get problems when they, those kind of problems when they come. You know the saying, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, did I get it right?
But that's
it's similar
where
to
Ilhan Omar carries that responsibility, right? The reason why I said I don't like her is because I have an unpopular opinion about this. But one thing I hate, and one thing that all Muslim men should never do, is have a victimhood mentality.
Okay.
No matter what situation you're in, God puts you through tests. You have to make the best out of it. So a person like Ilhan Omar is supposed to be a representative of her community.
Yeah.
So instead of her playing the victim card and going against the leader of the nation and this and that, there are a lot of other more proactive things that she could focus on, at least for her community. And if this really, this issue, this scandal of the 88% is true, then she has a really big problem. That should be the first of her priority, because she's a representative of this community. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand that if you're elected as this representative, then you carry that responsibility of actually achieving something and doing something for that community, instead of just playing, going against him and criticism and all that. There's...
Yeah, but this is the problem, bro. When you have this kind of systems, when you don't have kings, and you have like...
No, not necessarily.
When you have peasants who become politicians,
listen, have you ever...
then they're only going to work for themselves.
Not really. Well,
but
that's the thing. But this is
we
why
need to have the kingdom of America. We make Donald Trump king. He gets rid of Ilhan.
Then that's the thing. When
he throws her in prison.
Yeah. Well. Then when the leader of that nation comes and give it to you straight up like that, assuming that the statistic is right, then you should take it. You should accept that criticism, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of other communities that are thriving.
I mean, my issue...
What I'm trying to... Sorry, I was just going to say one point. There's the book, The Art of Not Giving an F, right? So he mentions one of the individuals that basically went on... He was going to commit suicide, right? And he decided one day that, you know what? I'm going to basically try to assume that everything that's happening to my life, I have control over, because he was just fed up with his life. His life was just crap and everything. He's like, you know what? I'm going to take ownership of everything. He went on to become, after changing that mindset, one of the top psychiatrists in the world, because of that shift in mindset. And the reason I say this is because, for example, I take my community as an example, Syrians. After 14 years of one of the toughest, most brutal, most oppressive civil wars that the world has ever seen. Yet, and I'm not saying this because I'm biased, the stats prove it. Everywhere they went, they thrived. Everywhere they went, they thrived. Sweden, Germany, US, patents, top doctors, top prizes everywhere.
Why is that? Because I've noticed...
Why is that? Yes, I'll tell you why it's that.
You're actually right, remarkably a lot, but it's
All
serious.
top doctors in Michigan are Syrians.
Here in the UAE, akhi.
And I swear, I wish I wasn't Syrian to say this, but I'm trying to be really not biased, but it's the reality.
Well, I didn't even know you were Syrian.
Well, now you know.
I love you more now that I know you're Syrian. Not because of the war and all that stuff, but because of the good experience I've had with almost all of the Syrians I've encountered.
Alhamdulillah. What I'm saying is, first of all, we consider ourselves Umayyin. So we are like really Bani Umayyah.
Now you're talking my language, brother.
Really, we consider ourselves Bani Umayyah. We are descendants of the Umayyad.
Very interesting. That's as an identity.
I like how he
that's
looks.
a very
I like
important
him.
thing.
Because when you look at it, when you look at it like that, you should...
He looks like an Umayyi.
No. What
I
I'm
can see
saying
him
is
with the
there's this sense of...
And the Jawari walking behind you.
No, I'll tell you what. There is this sense of you. It's an unspoken unspoken pride that they have, that they carry that
First Islamic dynasty.
exactly, you know, like they carry that
Bro,
in
it's
in
not
their
the
identity.
first Islamic dynasty. The Umayyad dynasty ruled Spain till God
Yeah.
knows where.
The
till
largest.
till
You're
Pakistan.
right, but I want him to land.
Yeah, so they have this from a very young age. They are against laziness. They are against living on welfare. They are so proud that anything you do, and they have this thing, you do it to perfection. Even if you're doing a freaking shawarma. Maybe that's why we have the best shawarmas. No, but jokes aside, whatever you do, you should do it to perfection. If you take that on an individual level, compound it, I'll use the same guy, Donald Trump. Who is the person that removed the sanctions? Him on the Syrians. And who was the person that helped Syrians the most? Him. And who was the person that really spoke very highly of Syrians? Him. So the same way obviously I don't like what he said about Somalis because I have a lot of respect for them too. But you should also look at the fact that power recognizes power, right? So when you're proud, when you know that your community is doing well, when you're productive, that's power in itself. So when you're talking to power, it recognizes power. So you should have that. You should have that sort of productive, very not lazy, very proud. How can I say it's embedded attitude. It's embedded in our identity as Muslims. So I don't know why immigrants do what they do when they travel abroad, because like Brother Sam said, it's so easy to go from 0 to 1. And it's also very easy to go from 1 to 100, but you need dedication and discipline. So what I'm trying to say is that unfortunately, some communities are led and maybe affected by representatives like Ilhan that really offer nothing.
So what you're saying is some communities are not led.
No, well, I mean, Somalis, if they had much better representation, I'm sure they would achieve a lot more.
You know, Barakallah fi, man, I really like the way you articulated your point here. And I think it shows the importance of having a very strong identity, Muslim identity. And I think my concluding point on this before we move on to the Somali diaspora is that, Somalis, I spent a lot of time with different communities. I spent a lot of time with all different ethnicities and nationalities. Some of the most practicing people on earth are Somalis. They really take the Quran seriously. They really take the deen seriously. They're also my fellows in the Shafi'i madhab. I believe that, having that as a foundation, they can produce so much, right?
Yeah.
If they, as a community, they just get a few things aligned.
Yes.
I feel like, because Allah Azza wa Jal is going to be in the aid, man, of the one who his foundations are right. Do you know what I'm saying? So having the Quran, having that fitrah, I think is a beautiful foundation for a lot of greatness to be built. Okay, listen, I'm not a person that brings you investment opportunities very often, and if I do, I can guarantee you and promise you one thing: it's been looked over and scrutinized at least 3 times over. So there is a brother called Sam Amin. You might have seen him on my podcast, and he, Alam Barik, is helping Muslims become rich through real estate. Now, this is not for people that are trying to go from 0 to 1. We're talking about guys that have savings, people that have at least $100,000 liquid capital ready to be deployed. He has an opportunity for you. It's a project right here in Dubai, 100% riba free, inshallah, 50% returns within 2 years. And there are only a very few bit of allocations left. The land has been purchased, the architectural work has already been done, and very soon they're going to be selling off-plan, inshallah ta'ala. And once the off-plan sales start, the door closes. Just so you know how much of a golden opportunity this is, you are currently able to get in at the land where it's 1,000 dirham per square foot, inshallah ta'ala. They're going to be selling this at 1,700 plus dirham per square foot. Do you understand how big that margin is? With Allah's permission, is tawfiq. This type of opportunity, it's not just rare, it may never even ever come round again at this stage. So it would be not smart to miss this opportunity, especially when it's halal. There's no riba involved, inshallah ta'ala. So this is genuinely and truly the final call. And once the door closes, please don't message me and I'm talking to those that actually know me personally, sending me messages on WhatsApp saying, please get me in. Once it's done, it's done. So Again, if you have $100,000 minimum liquid cash ready to deploy within the next 30 days, only in that situation should you apply at the link below, and you can speak to one of Sam's team members directly on the phone, do all the due diligence, ask all the questions, they'll put you in touch with his investors, inshallah ta'ala, from the past. You can see it's all legit, and then hopefully you can do the deal. With that said, may Allah bless you. Apply at the link below.